everyone, welcome to a review video with Kim Tech. My name is Kim. Today I'll be reviewing the Roborock S8 Pro Ultra after having been using it for 1 month. Everything is based on my personal experience with my home layout and daily routines, so they may be different from you and your situation. Also, this review is specifically for the S8 Pro Ultra, so I cannot comment on other models. All links will be in the description box below along with timestamp, so you can skip to the sections you want. For the first section of this video, I'll share my thoughts on the parts of the S8 Pro Ultra and its initial setup. I'll then review the functions and features. I'll also share some helpful tips throughout this video. Now let's get on with the video. For a quick background, this is our first robot vacuum, and with its high price tag, we were excited to see what this fella can do. Our home is 2,264 square feet with a secondary floor. Although we don't have kids or pets, our home has various textures. With vinyl for the majority of the floor, wood flooring in the office, 1/2 inch inclines going into some of the rooms, and rugs and mats at different heights. So I think it would be good to see if any of these variations could be potential obstacles, and if the robot would do better on one type of surfaces compared to another. The appliance looks sleek and simple. I love white for most products, but I chose the vacuum in black because it will get dirty and any marks on it from any accidental injuries would look very obvious if it were white. Is that just me? Because so many YouTube reviewers have the white version. Do you guys think about it too? Let me know down below. Anyway, the S8 Pro Ultra comes with the robot vacuum, an Ultra dock, a mop cloth mount, a user manual, and a power cable. The Ultra dock contains the dirty water tank, clean water tank, and a dustbin for the disposable dust bag. Let's start with the clean water tank first, which holds 3.5 liter or about 14 cups. There are a few options on what you can fill the tank with. You can use clean water only, you can use their cleaning solution and dilute it with water, or you can make your own solution with distilled vinegar, which I've recently tried because vinegar is a great natural disinfectant. I'm going to include my ratio below. Also, please do not use any type of vinegar on waxed linoleum because it might break up the wax. Final thing about the clean water tank is that Roborock advises to not use hot water. From my experience, after mopping 1,507 square feet, the clean water tank still has about a little less than half, while the dirty water tank is still about half full. When the dirty water tank is full, you'll be notified to empty the tank as the robot cannot do its next mop clean and pump out the dirty water if the tank is full. The dirty water tank is 2.9 liter or about 12 cups, so smaller than the clean tank. Now, you do not have to dump the dirty liquid out after every clean, and can definitely wait till the dirty water tank is full. But I would highly recommend you do, because there will be gunk collecting at the bottom of the bin, especially if it's after a big mess. I don't know about you, but I am not interested in opening the tank and inhaling its fermentation. So I've been dumping out the dirty liquid after each clean, doing a quick rinse, and leaving the bin open to air dry. The dustbin size is 1.8 liter, and besides the pre-installed dust bag, the Roborock S8 Pro Ultra also comes with an extra dust bag, so you have two. You will eventually need to buy more since these are disposable. But don't worry, there are plenty of aftermarket dust bags on Amazon, as the ones from Roborock are a bit expensive if your house is really dirty, which will quickly fill up the bag. Although Roborock suggests replacing the disposable dust bag every 1 to 2 months, I think it depends on the actual use. I wish they had a sensor to tell us on the app when the disposable dust bag is full. However, I think that because iRobot has a dustbin pen for robot vacuums, Roborock cannot use this unless the design is completely different. There was no installation needed for the S8 Pro Ultra. Everything was already put together except for the dock base. All I did was take everything out of the box, take off the tapes and plastic coverings, plug it in to charge, connect the dock base, and I was ready to set up the robot with the app. And the setup was easy and straightforward once I figured out the local network issue. Wish they had some sort of warning on the local network setup screen that if you do not enable this, you cannot connect to your Roborock. You will get this error, and to fix it, you would have to go into settings and enable local network. During the setup, I would recommend leaving the mop and vacuum intensity default for the first clean. That way, you would have a baseline to decide what kind of adjustment needed based on your environment. There are quite a few functionalities and features, and some of which you can customize to fit better with your day-to-day home environment. Some of the bells and whistles are really cool. Besides explaining these functions and features in no particular order, I will also share how well they have worked for me. To start, the S8 Pro Ultra is currently not Matter compatible, but I have read that it can be controlled via voice command with Amazon Alexa or Google Assistant. For Google Assistant to work, you will need to connect via Google Home. Then you can operate it using Google Assistant through any Nest smart speaker, such as the Nest Mini, or smart display, the Nest Hub Max. Unfortunately, I do not own Amazon Alexa or Google Assistant, so I did not test this feature. Anyway, there are sensors that we should keep in mind in case things stop working, which can probably be caused by dirty sensor or sensors. There are a lot of sensors on this vacuum, which makes sense because sensors are like eyes for the robot. To start, the S8 Pro Ultra uses LiDAR and infrared sensors to define our space. From the top view of the robot, here is the LiDAR sensor. LiDAR is an acronym for light detection and ranging. In LiDAR, laser light is sent from a source, the transmitter, and reflected from objects in the scene. The reflected light is detected by the system receiver, and time of flight is used to develop a distance map of the objects in the scene. LiDAR is commonly used to make high-resolution maps, and there are different forms of LiDAR. Anyway, the S8 Pro Ultra does not have an RGB camera, unlike its cousin, the S7 Max V, which I prefer over having a camera because I'm too paranoid that data of my house is photographically captured, or if my husband runs out of the bathroom naked and happen to pass by the robot, it might get an image of him and his assets, which will then be saved to Roborock server. No thanks. However, after close observation, I think it has a camera. Maybe not an RGB camera, but there seems to be a camera of some sort and a receiver. You guys let me know. So for now, I'm going to have to keep my guards up. Next, we have the wall sensor. And here are the Reactive 3D obstacle avoidance sensors, which are a combination of cross lasers and a camera to help detect the objects. In doing so, they measure its distance, size, and shape, classify it, and send the information to the robot system. The robot promptly decides for itself how to deal with these obstacles, whether to avoid them or not. As mentioned earlier, Roborock doesn't say that the S8 Pro Ultra uses an RGB camera, but I think it's some sort of camera and a receiver. Anyway, I did notice that the vacuum robot couldn't detect short and small objects, or at least not very good at it. But this is to be expected since the objects are lower than the robot, making it hard to detect. So if you have small objects, especially short ones, like Legos, toy cars, thumb drives, or etc., the robot may try to vacuum them up. Here is the infrared fill light. It's an active IR sensor that behaves as a proximity sensor used for obstacle detection. When an object comes close to the sensor, the infrared light from the LED bounces off of the object and is detected by the receiver. At the bottom of the robot, there is the carpet sensor, and these are the cliff sensors. The onboard cliff sensors will detect any drops and prevent the robot from falling. I was so nervous when I saw it moving near the edge on the first day. On my second floor, my brain was alerting me, danger, danger, your $1,600 vacuum is about to tumble to its death, and there goes all of your money. However, my logical sense kicked in and reassured me that the robot should be able to identify the cliff because it's one of the promoted features. Plus, I also bought the 2-year warranty for it. I'm amazed at how well this cliff sensor works. However, there is a caveat to the sensor. It's worth noting that the cliff sensors can potentially make cleaning shaggy carpets a bit problematic because the long hairs may trigger the cliff sensors in the same way as a drop. At the moment, it's not possible to disable cliff sensors as they are essentials in most homes. My carpet upstairs has tassels, and the robot paused its cleaning and presented an error. I went to check the robot, nothing was stuck though, so I just resumed the cleaning. In case you need to review where the sensors are again, I will include the Roborock diagram and user manual down below. If your robot starts missing areas and has abnormal cleaning paths, consider checking the wall sensors. You might need to use a clean damp cloth to wipe the wall sensors and run another setup to see if this has fixed your issue. The S8 Pro Ultra is the only robot in the Roborock line at the moment that has a dual brush system for vacuuming and the VibraRise 2.0 system for mopping, and both of which the brush and mop can be automatically lifted up to 5 mm to avoid leaving stains after cleaning. As you can see here, the robot has its butt pad lifted because it has already cleaned that spot. However, anything at 5 mm, the robot's brush and mop will touch them. The two roller brushes in this dual roller brush system will spin in opposite directions, which gives the vacuum a better grip for carpet cleaning and any other surfaces. I don't know if it's sucking up dirt from the carpet or it's just pulling the carpet's hair.
Starting mapping.
The mapping process was simple. It's straightforward and quite fascinating to watch. Maybe because it's our first robot vacuum, so I was definitely very intrigued watching it. For your first map, you can only do quick mapping. However, when trying to create another map, there is an option to clean and map at the same time to save you time. There's this 3D and even matrix mapping feature on the app, which is really cool to play with, but I don't see the value in it. If anything, I find the matrix mapping a bit invasive because Roborock can see the interior of your house. And if you've seen enough of my videos, you know that I'm a bit more on the paranoid side because of my security background. Now, the robot has no problem cleaning with the 2D map, so I really don't see the need for the 3D mapping or even matrix mapping, in my honest opinion. Once the map has been created, you can name the map or maps if you have more than one. You can also label the rooms, split them, or merge them as you please. There's also the option to create no-go zones, so the robot doesn't go into areas that you do not want it to in order to avoid getting caught or tugging on cables. And if you have housemates that do not want the robot to clean their rooms, don't worry. As long as the door is closed for those rooms, the robot will only map and clean the space it can access. And if you add furniture to your map, the rooms automatically update their names. For example, if I put a bed here, it automatically identifies that it's a bedroom. Now, this doesn't make a difference for your daily clean unless you use the Smart Vacuum and Mop feature. I'll explain about the Smart feature under the Vacuum and Scrub Intensity section later on. There's a Clean Along Floor Direction feature on the app for the robot to clean the floor along the specified direction to minimize scraping against the floor seams in full cleaning or room cleaning. If you do not specify the floor type, then the robot will clean based on the route setting, standard or fast, which may not match with the direction of your floor. To specify the floor type of each room, edit the map and select Edit Surface. For this demonstration, I set my kitchen to have a different flooring direction than my dining room. And as you can see, the fella is going the opposite direction of my floorboard. So if you need the robot to go in a certain direction, then be sure to enable clean along floor direction and set the direction of your floor. Carpet boost is different from deep carpet cleaning. The latter is disabled by default. The carpet boost mode means when the robot detects carpet, it lifts the mop by 5 mm, stops the water flow, and automatically increases its vacuuming suction power to max in order to vacuum better. The suction strength will return back to normal when the robot is no longer on the carpet and now on the hard floor. Then when deep carpet cleaning is enabled, which can be done by going into the Roborock app settings or the 3 vertical dots, carpet settings, deep carpet cleaning. This will tell the robot to separately clean carpets after each room clean. For example, after it cleans the living room, it identifies there's a carpet, or if you manually set a location as a carpet in the living room, it will go to the carpet location of the living room and do another clean before it moves to the next room. Either feature, when enabled, will draw a lot of power, especially when they are both enabled together. The battery will be drained very quickly. When I have both of these enabled, the robot has to go back home to charge himself before he can go back out to finish cleaning the whole house. The robot does a good job of identifying carpet for the locations that we have mats, except for the very flimsy mats. However, you can definitely label the carpet sections of the house manually if it couldn't detect it, so the robot can go back to do some deep cleaning if you have this feature enabled. There are 3 available washing modes: light, balanced, and deep, which can be adjusted by tapping on the 3 vertical dots or settings, dock settings, and washing mode. The different modes are there to accommodate how the dock should clean the mop after the different messes in your environment. You can also change the scrub intensity from the vacuum and/or mop on the app. It's worth noting that the water flow will change when the scrub intensity is adjusted. If you select the intense scrub intensity, the robot can scrub up to 3,000 times per minute based on Roborock's claim, and the water flow is set to maximum automatically. I find it so interesting and kind of cool that you can customize the cleaning intensity specific to each room instead of making it generic for the whole house. There's a smart option where the Roborock app selects the intensity based on the labeled room. Since I have a room labeled as kitchen, Roborock automatically sets the suction power to turbo and the scrub at intense, while the room 5 in the mustard color is balanced and moderate. We have 3 tests going on here. We are starting first with the default settings of standard mop route with default flooring and a balanced washing mode. I've sprinkled some coffee powder and poured some sticky white chocolate and coffee mixture on the floor for my simple test. To be honest, I didn't have any expectations since I didn't find any article or notes on the robot's ability to identify if the floor is still dirty. So to me, the robot will only clean and move on to the next spot or room without making sure that it's quote-unquote clean. For example, if you didn't know that a spot is dirty, then you just mop it like you regularly would without putting additional force and keep at it until it's clean. I hope I'm making sense here. I started out with the vac and mop clean with the default settings, which left some residue on the floor and stuck to the mop and got carried to the dock. Then I added a few more drops of the chocolate coffee mixtures with some coffee sprinkles on the floor and moved up a notch to moderate mopping while still on balanced vacuum mode and standard route, which didn't seem to make much difference either. More chocolate and coffee stuck to the vacuum and dock. I upped the vacuum and mop combo to turbo for the suction and to intense for the scrubbing with a few more drops of chocolate coffee mix and more coffee grounds sprinkled on the floor. Since the vacuum was working really well at engulfing the coffee powder, I decided to just focus on the mopping part for the final 2 tests to determine if the existing sticky mess can be cleaned up with the S8 Pro Ultra. You can do up to 3 cycles per clean, so I changed from 1 to 2 for these 2 final tests. I didn't go all the way to 3 though because I wanted an incremental change. On the left here, we have intense scrubbing since the last test we went up to intense scrubbing. So we'll start there with intense and deep plus routing and balanced wash mode. The right is intense scrubbing with deep plus route and deep wash mode. Even at the highest level of scrubbing, the robot couldn't clean up the sticky mess completely. This was what the beginning looked like, and this was the end result. And as you can see, the mess is not as much as before, but it's not completely clean either. And the worst part is, the mess got carried over to the robot and its little home. Maybe if I let it mop a couple more times under the highest mode, then the spot will be completely clean, but that still wouldn't prevent the sticky mess from transferring. So if you have a sticky mess, it's better to clean it manually. The wash frequency is 20 minutes by default. You can change it under wash settings from the app. It's worth noting that if the frequency is increased, then it'll take a longer time between each mop wash, so the robot is just wiping the floor with a dirty mop. And if the wash frequency is decreased, the robot will need to clean its mop more often, using more clean water and dumping out more dirty water. Just something for you to keep in mind. And each mop wash takes 4 minutes. Now, if needed, you can also start the mop wash manually by pressing and holding the dock button when the robot is near or on the dock.
Going to wash the mop.
Or you can initiate it from the app as well. Because I had it cleaned upstairs while the dock was downstairs, so I had to manually tell the robot to clean its mop when I brought it back to its dock. You can disassemble the brushes, which is super helpful to really clean the vacuum if things get stuck or sticky. I did a test for you guys on some of the different modes of this robot, and look at how gross it turned out to be afterward. I was able to disassemble the main brushes, side brush, mop cloth, and omnidirectional wheel. To remove the main brush, first take off the cover using the latches. Once you take out the main brushes, pull out the main brush caps to remove any tangled strands of hair or fur. You can easily remove the side brush by unscrewing the middle screw. Next, the mop cloth is attached to the mount with some Velcro strips. Lift it off to detach, then slide it out from the mount, and Roborock recommends replacing the mop cloth every 3 to 6 months. The omnidirectional wheel can also be detached by using a small screwdriver and prying out the axle. And to reassemble, you just put everything back the same way you take them out. From the top of the robot, you can take out the internal dustbin to clean it if it gets too dirty. From the dock, you can disassemble the dock base, the water filter mesh, and the high-speed maintenance brush. For the water filter mesh, you just take it out and do a quick rinse. To remove this brush, you need to lift the latch to remove it. Remove any entangled objects in the high-speed maintenance brush and rinse it clean. Reinstall the brush and latch it in place. In terms of the battery life, I think it's okay. I don't have anything I can compare it to since this is our first robot vacuum and our go-to vacuum is an old corded shark vacuum, which I love by the way because it's been with us for almost 8 years and it's been so good to us. Anyway, from my experience, I have 20% battery life left after cleaning the main floor only, which is 1,227 square feet, kind of equates to 114 square meter. And that is with balanced suction, mild scrub intensity, standard route, and carpet boost. So I will let you decide if the battery life is good or not. Worst case, your vacuum will return to its little home when it hits 20% to charge before picking up where it left off. And in case you signed up for some energy efficient programs or need to meet the time of use requirements in your area, there's the off-peak charging feature, where the robot will only fully charge during off-peak hours and minimum power will be maintained at other times. However, if the robot is in the middle of its clean and needs to charge, then the robot will make cleaning a priority. meaning that the robot will disregard off-peak charging until it finishes its clean. You can turn your robot into a mini remote control race car. Just kidding. Not really, no. However, you can move the robot using the remote control via buttons or joystick. I find this feature a bit silly. When you open this option up on the app, you would get a warning. To prevent accidental damage, keep an eye on the robot when using remote control. You have to have eyes on the robot or else it can turn out to be pretty bad because it can go down the stairs or get caught in other objects. Here's why I find it silly. The S8 Pro Ultra doesn't have a mention of quote-unquote camera. I'm air quoting here. So I think it makes more sense for you to go to the robot and move it rather than go to where you can see the robot. Do you know what I mean? This seems like a lazy halfway feature. It just doesn't make sense to me. If there's an onboard camera like the S7 Max V, then it makes perfect sense because you can remotely control the robot without needing to be present at the location. There are two ways to turn on child lock. From the robot, you can press and hold the child lock button until you hear the child lock activated voice alert.
Child's lock on.
Once child lock is enabled, the device will not respond if any button is pressed until you disable the lock. From the Roborock app, go to Settings, then tap Robot Settings, and then you can enable or disable child lock there. Mine is showing enabled here because I activated earlier from the robot itself and my app updated the setting on its own. Now, you can still send the robot to clean under child lock from the app, so don't worry that the little fella will skip his weekly or daily chores. You also have the ability to schedule your clean to just once, daily, or even weekly at whatever time you like. And you can even schedule to clean certain rooms if you do not want it to clean the whole entire house. And you can have more than one scheduled cleaning. The only thing worth noting is when you have your schedule enabled, this will override your D&D or Do Not Disturb. The default Do Not Disturb period is from 22 or 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. You can use the app to disable the D&D mode or modify the D&D period. When D&D mode is activated, the robot will not automatically resume cleaning if it's charging during those hours. The power indicator light will dim, and the volume of the voice prompts will lower. And as mentioned earlier, a scheduled cleaning will override the D&D. Because I schedule my cleaning at 7:30 a.m. and the robot followed the command to clean right at 7:30 with regular audio, even though I had D&D enabled for 10 p.m. to 8 a.m. Press and hold the mop only and power buttons simultaneously to start spot cleaning. Or you can initiate the spot cleaning on the app. Under Settings, Pin and Go, Spot Clean. The robot cleans a 5 feet by 5 feet or 1.5 meter by 1.5 meter square area centered on itself. You cannot expand the surface area of the spot clean, but you can go back to the Pin and Go screen to add another pin for another spot clean after the first spot clean has finished. Also, the robot doesn't go back to its dock after the spot clean. You'd have to send it back from either the app or the dock button on the robot. If you want to review your previous clean, you can. Under Settings, Cleaning History. Here you can see the total time, total area cleaned, and total cycles from when you first got the robot. Of course, you can delete the cycle if there's an error with a cycle that you accidentally activated and cancel. From this screen alone, you can see the date and time of each cycle. If the cycle was a full clean or cleaned as zones, the surface area covered, the time it took, and if any dust was collected. You can then drill down and view the cleanup summary by selecting the individual cycles. The cleanup summary not only shows you everything that is shown on the cleaning history screen for that particular cycle, but you also get a map of the area cleaned, how the clean was initiated, and how many mop washes for that clean. The only thing that I wish the cleaning history or the cleanup summary would include were the modes of the vacuum and mop, because I think that would be useful to recall, let's say, the settings for last week's mopping in case this week's new settings didn't do a good job. Then there's the ability to share the robot settings with another device under device sharing. I was hoping that once I enter the phone number or email of a person, a link will be sent to that person via the method I entered, and the person can set up the account as part of the process. But that's not how it works. You have to have a Roborock account ahead of time. I tried sharing it with my husband via his phone number and email, and it wouldn't let me. I then tried my email address and it found my account, but I could not share with myself. The biggest thing that sets the Roborock S8 Pro Ultra apart from much of its competition is how self-sufficient it is. Like many other modern robot vacuums, the S8 Pro Ultra automatically empties dirt from its smaller dustbin into a larger dustbin in the dock. However, the S8 Pro Ultra also automatically refills the robot's internal water tank from the tank of the dock. It self-washes, which washes the mop automatically during cleaning, and when it finishes its clean, so you don't have to. It self-cleans, cleaning the bottom of the dock for easier maintenance, and it self-dries, which safely dries the wash mop and the bottom of the dock with warm air to prevent mold from growing and unpleasant odor. This feature is important to maintain the cleanliness and hygiene of your home. So in other words, the only time you should have to interact with it is to refill the clean water tank and empty the dirty water tank. As mentioned earlier, the dirty water tank and clean water tank were roughly at half after cleaning 1,507 square feet. If your home interior space is double of that, then please be prepared to either dump out the dirty water or fill in the clean water in the midst of the clean. Also, if you have crazy sticky, chocolatey stain like my test, then be warned. You will need to spend some time cleaning the dock and the robot unless you mop up those stains ahead of time or have the robot avoid those areas during its clean. We can check the health of the robot's parts by going to Settings and Maintenance. Isn't that cool? You can see if the main brushes are doing well or they need to be replaced. That goes for the filter, side brush, sensors, water filter, and the high-speed maintenance brush. Unfortunately, there's no health check for the dust bag and mop pad. Pooh. Like I said, for the dust bag, it might be because of the dust bag patent from iRobot. Roborock recently pushed out a new firmware update, version 2.16.75, with a brand new feature called Vacuum Carpet First. With this feature, the robot will prioritize vacuuming the carpet without wetting the mop cloth. It will then continue the cleaning task. I think vacuuming the carpet first is quite useful, and you can pair it with deep carpet cleaning. Unfortunately though, the vacuum carpet first feature has been a bit inconsistent, even for the location where I manually labeled as carpet. Not sure if it has anything to do with the optimization that Roborock did in the same update, where after starting the mop-only task, the robot will not clean or pass the carpet unless necessary. But I'm not running a mop-only task here because the robot went to a different room to vacuum the carpet first. Take a look at this map. The robot cleaned the carpet in the dining room, and instead of finishing cleaning the dining room, it moved to the living room to clean the carpet and started cleaning the living room. So strange. It's like it was not in the mood to clean the dining room, so it chose a different room to clean. Hopefully, Roborock will fix this bug or optimize the consistency on their next firmware update. Oh, and we can name the robot from the Roborock app, which I think is very cute and personalized. We named him Thomas Choo Choo for Thomas the Choo Choo Train because you can hear him when he's cleaning close by. I find him super cute when he comes back to his little garage from his 20 minutes of cleaning to clean himself and get back out there to make another round, or how he consistently goes back and forth to make sure that he covers the area properly, which my husband often fails at. My husband is great at many things, but cleaning is not his forte. Besides the point,
I think I'm starting to get a little attached to the little fella. Anyway, please welcome Thomas Choo Choo officially to our family. Yay!
To summarize, I'm blown away by the many features the Roborock S8 Pro Ultra has, and how they continue to optimize the existing features and add new useful features to the app. The Roborock app offers a comprehensive and user-friendly interface for controlling the S8 Pro Ultra. Users can label and set zones for customized cleaning, schedule cleaning sessions, adjust suction power and water flow settings, access device settings and configuration, and more. And if meter is not the metrics you can easily calculate, you can change to foot, under setting, robot settings, and units. Maybe I'm being a bit nitpicky here, but the time is in military time, which I'm not very used to. I wish I could change it to a 12 hours format versus the 24 hours format. Regardless, the app is intuitive, offering tracking during each clean and settings adjustments from anywhere. Users can initiate a self-empty, wash, and dry cycle and set quiet periods when the vacuum should not operate. The app also provides a good overview of past cleaning sessions with images and displays the lifespan of various components, helping us anticipate when to replace its parts. There's one slightly misleading thing on the app though, which is this part here under settings, product info, and report logs. When I first read this, I thought that we can view the logs with this option. However, that's not the case. Report logs is to report to Roborock, not for you to view anything. The word report in this case is used as a verb, not a noun. So if you do not want to send your data to Roborock, do not tap on this option. Even though our house is relatively clean since we vacuum every weekend, we don't know how much dirt and hair are on the ground until we see the results from the vacuum. When I flipped it over after its first run, this was what I found. Oh, we know this fella is doing his job. It picked up a crap ton of my hair strands and dust from underneath the couch, the bed, and other furniture pieces, which our regular vacuum cannot get under without us moving them. This robot is definitely built for day-to-day cleaning more than for huge spills. But it can certainly clean medium-sized spills without any issues if it's liquid and not sticky. It's best to manually clean the sticky messes or else the robot would just spread the mess everywhere. Here, let me remind you from my test. The S8 Pro Ultra does a good job on pretty much all surface materials, but I think it does better on hard floors or smooth surfaces versus thick carpet because the side brush sometimes doesn't sweep as well on thick carpet. And if you have a warped floor, the robot won't perform very well either because it's not even for the mop to hit the entire surface area. But this goes for all robot mops. However, this fella does a great job going up the 1/2 inch inclines that we have in our house and going over the bottom metal frames of our chairs, making me think that it's a tank. How many times did the robot get stuck? Twice so far. The first time, our throw towel was hanging from the couch and draped onto the floor. The frills at the end of the towel got whipped up in the side brush in multiple rounds and got rolled into the main brushes. The second time was the tassels of the rugs upstairs. But they didn't get vacuumed in that much though. I think that it probably has to do with the way the tassels register with the sensors. For that one clean, well, the sensors thought that the tassel resembled the long hair fibers of a shag carpet or shaggy carpet. However, it has only happened one time out of the 5 or 6 times we cleaned upstairs. Overall, the S8 Pro Ultra is really good, and I do mean really good, at maneuvering and getting itself out of a jam. When I hear him revving up his engine, he's either trying to get out of a jam or vacuuming the carpet. So I'd check on him every now and then and would watch to see if he's able to figure out how to unstuck himself. And he's been able to so far. I don't know how well he'll do as he ages, but we will see. Now, a lacking function of this robot is its ability to quote-unquote see short and small objects, or sense them, which I went into details under the Reactive 3D Obstacle Avoidance Sensors section. Trying saying that multiple times. And after the recent 2.16.72 firmware update, the robot is a bit inconsistent with the new vacuum carpet first feature. Anyway, you can decide for yourself if it's worth the price based on my overload of information, because I seriously cannot decide for you, since I have not owned any other robot vacuum to really compare. However, we are considering getting the Q Revel for the top floor to see if the price difference is worth the compromise of functionalities and features.
So how do you like your Roborock if you have one? And do you have any tips that can help first-time robot vacuum owners like myself? I would love to hear from you, so put it down below. If you stay till the end of this video, then here's a medal for you, my friend. I understand that was a lot of material that I went over. So feel free to pause the video or go back to any part that was confusing. Hope you all find this video helpful. If you do, please click the thumbs up and subscribe. If you have any questions, please feel free to put it down below. Thank you so much for watching and have yourself a nice day or night wherever you are, my buddies. Until next time, bye.